mission on Mars. Our satellites detected a storm, and we had to abort the mission. But astronaut Mark Watney was killed.
This has been a shock to the entire world, but I'm still alive. I gotta figure out how to grow food on a planet where nothing grows. But if I can't contact NASA, none of this matters anyway.
Mark Watney's still alive.
The Martian, rated PG-13.
It's going to be a great week to talk about movies this time around. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. Today we are taking a look at the two big new releases for October 2nd, 2015. And this is one of those weekends I look forward to where you have two of my favorite movies of the year on the same weekend. And yeah, we're looking at both of them today. Let's take a look at our first one, the biggest of the new releases, and that is The Martian, which is, of course, based off of the book by Andy Weir, starring Matt Damon and directed by Ridley Scott. During a manned mission to Mars, astronaut Mark Watney is presumed dead after a fierce storm and left behind by his crew. But Watney has survived and found himself stranded and alone on this hostile planet. With only meager supplies, he must draw upon his ingenuity, wit, and spirit to subsist and find a way to signal to Earth that he is alive. Millions of miles away, NASA and a team of international scientists work tirelessly to bring the Martian home, while his crewmates concurrently plot a daring, if not impossible, rescue mission. As these stories of incredible bravery unfold, the world comes together to root for Watney's safe return. And I love how the synopsis has to put in there, based on a best-selling novel. Not, based on a novel by Andy Weir. No, it just says, based on a best-selling novel. Like, it's just the most blandest sentence ever for a book that a lot of people were really excited to see if they were going to make a really good film adaptation out of it. And, yeah, it's easy to make comparisons to the movie that came out 2 years ago this weekend, Gravity, which also was one of the best movies of that year. And yet both movies are very similar in tone and story, but talk about The Martian in its own merits, and really on those merits, it's one of the best movies of the year easily. It's an incredible movie boasted by the visual look of it, which is impressive to look at, and features a great leading performance by Matt Damon, a really great story written by Drew Goddard, and it's a return to form for Ridley Scott. Like, this is what I look forward to when I see Ridley Scott doing what it feels like when he's putting all of his effort into it. Like, this isn't a movie like The Counselor. This isn't a movie like Exorcist, Gods and Kings. This isn't like a movie with the recent Alien movies, or The Last Duel, or Gladiator 2. It doesn't feel like a movie where he's only half-assing it and just going back to what he knows works. This is a guy that's returning to the real. This is his real return to science fiction for Ridley Scott. Fuck Prometheus. Fuck Alien Covenant. This is the real return of Ridley Scott. Like, this feels like a film that feels like this is the same guy that gave us the original Alien, and isn't just doing the same thing over and over and over again. He's doing something new with something he's very familiar with, and it works very well. You've got a great story that doesn't feel rushed or slowed down. The entire film works because everyone is there for the right amount of time. There's nothing that feels like filler. Everything is edited down to the right moment, and nothing feels like it's being overplayed or forced. Some of these decisions they make are impressive too. Like, I like the running gag about the music choices that Mark has around him. Like, you've got all these classic songs, Turn the Beat Around, Rock the Boat, Hot Stuff, Don't Leave Me This Way, Starman, Waterloo, Love Train, I Will Survive. The film is very good at the songs they select for this movie during key story points here. And you've got a terrific score by Harry Gregson Williams, who really gives one of the best composed scores of his career, honestly. Cast overall is great. Not only is Matt Damon great, you've got a cast that also includes Jessica Chastain, Kate Mara, Sebastian Stan, Jeff Daniels, one of his two great movies we'll have this month from him, Chiwetel Ejiofor, even comedy people like Kristen Wiig and Donald Glover. You forget that these guys can act outside of comedy, and here's a great example of that. The film is great to watch. You really do feel like you're up there in space with this character, and the film does a great job of bringing that sense of being in space to life, like how Gravity did it 2 years ago. And the best way to describe this movie is that it's Interstellar done the right way. This is a movie that works on action, visuals, music, a great cast, a great story. It is one of the more near-perfect movies I had seen up to that point. It was one of my favorite movies of the year. It's still one of my favorite Ridley Scott movies in general. And sadly, I thought this was going to be the return to more of Ridley Scott doing what he does so well. But he just kind of went back to doing the same generic stuff he's been doing. He was doing between this and in between The Martian, like before The Martian and after The Martian, because he went back to doing, Alien Covenant, which was not very good. Then he did He did All the Money in the World, which was not a great movie. Then he did The Last Duel, which everyone loves, but I hate that movie. Then he did House of Gucci, which I'm one of the few people that like that movie, but even then I won't say it's a great movie. And then he did Gladiator 2, and it's just kind of like, where's this Ridley Scott again? Let me see a Ridley Scott where he's actually putting his all into it and isn't just doing another movie that he's familiar with and people are going to be sucked into it. That's my biggest problem with Ridley Scott. People are sucked in to everything he does, and yet he keeps making the same movies over and over and over again. Just like, I mean, that's why I give George Miller a lot more credit, because George Miller knows that he can do the same thing, he can do the same type of a film over, but he'll add a new flair to it, he'll do something new with it, and it gets me excited to see whatever George Miller does next. And Ridley Scott, I just don't get that with that guy anymore. Like, this is the last great film I've ever seen him direct, and I mean, I just wish he'd go back to finding his way again, or just, you know, if he can't keep up with the times, just, it's okay to retire and move on, man. Like, you could have ended your career with The Martian. It would have been lights out, man. I mean, that would have been a perfect end to your career. But sadly, he kept on going, and you know, I don't think he's ever going to find that magic again. I mean, I really just don't. But then again, hey, I'll be willing to be proven wrong when it happens. So let's go ahead and move on to The Martian. Was the biggest hit of the two new releases we have here. Now let's go ahead to a movie that is so criminally underrated that this film flopped badly at the box office, and it pissed me off so much when it did, because this is probably one of Robert Zemeckis' best later movies. This is The Walk. I wish I could show you the full trailer, because that first teaser trailer got me so hyped when I first saw it, because, you know, it got me excited to see what kind of a movie this was going to be based off of this really great story. This is based off the story of the inspiration for The Man on Wire, where you had a trapeze artist doing this high wire trick across the World Trade Center, and this is very much that. This is pretty much that story. In 1974, you have a high-wire artist, Philippe Petit, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who recruits a team of people to help him realize his dream, to walk the immense void between the World Trade Center towers. And it was a movie I was really looking forward to, especially considering that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was one of the best actors working at that point. Robert Zemeckis, one of the great directors out there, who slowly was finding his way back after a couple of lackluster films in the 2000s, and then, kind of like with Ridley Scott, after this, he never was really the same guy ever again after that, because I haven't seen anything from him since then that I've really, really enjoyed. And I love Robert Zemeckis. He made some of my favorite movies of all time. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Back to the Future, movies I really love, like Castaway, Flight. I mean, he's a great director. He's a very well-done director, but it just seems like he's lost his way over time, unfortunately. But this movie did not disappoint at all. This lived up to be as great as I thought it was going to be. There were a couple things that did knock my rating down a little bit on it. For one thing, the whole narrative structure is really odd. Like, you have Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character narrating from the top of the Statue of Liberty, because not only does it look like it's completely green screen, but it just feels off. You know, it just feels like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's hosting an episode of his hit record on TV show, and he's just he's just playing this character throughout it. It just felt off to me, and I don't mind if he's narrating the story, but you could have made it look at least a little more realistic or reasonable. But yeah, it literally looks like the beginning of his TV show he had around this time. But another problem that I have with it is that a lot of the accomplices that he has working with him don't really have a whole lot of memorability to them. We don't get a whole sense of that we should know these people, and the movie does suffer because of it. You know, The Martian had a ton of great characters, not just focusing on Matt Damon, but we talked about them in that review with Kate Mara, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Jeff Daniels, Kristen Wiig, Donald Glover, just to name a few. They were all memorable characters who did play a part in getting Matt Damon back to Earth. Here, you really don't get to know these people all that much, and it suffers because of it, because we want to connect with these people. Like, why would he want to help this guy? Why would Philippe do anything that... Why would Philippe and everyone else work together to make this happen here? You never get a connection with them, and it really didn't work in this case here. And my biggest last problem with the movie really is Charlotte Le Bon, who plays Philippe's girlfriend. It's her accent, man. It was, like, really, really off. Like, she's a French-Canadian from Quebec, and it says something when Gordon-Levitt does a better French accent than the person who's from Quebec. I mean, I also didn't like that the way the movie decided to end the relationship at the end. It just feels like more of a selfish move on her part. Her boyfriend completes this amazing feat by walking across the World Trade Center. She's proud of him for doing it. They seem happy then. And then in the epilogue, it's just kind of like, hey, good job for you accomplishing your dream, but I'm going back to France. Fuck you. It's just like, what a selfish bitch. I mean, that was a selfish move on her part. And it makes her come off, again, like a bitch. It's just like, I mean, they meant well, but it's just like, it came off in the wrong direction. It's kind of like, come on, man. Like, but to her credit, she and Gordon-Levitt do have a lot of chemistry together, and it's because of how great they are together in this. They are the glue that holds the film together. Ben Kingsley gives a great performance in this. He's really not in the whole film a whole lot. He's mostly in the first half and then really in the second, but the acting overall is really good, but the look of the film is amazing. I saw this on a Cinemark XD screen, and this is a movie that depends mostly on CG because, for obvious reasons, you can't do the Twin Towers nowadays because of obvious reasons. But yeah, for a $35 million budgeted movie, it looks incredible what they were able to accomplish with this. I mean, when the film gets incredible, and the true bright spot of the movie is that second hour, and you're watching these characters preparing this big plan, and the best aspect of the movie is that when you watch Philippe on The Wire, like, it's very tension-filled. You're just as in shock as the rest of the characters are. It looks about as perfect and as tension-filled as you could possibly get. The music is great. It's Robert Zemeckis once again working with Alan Silvestri, and Silvestri is one of those great composers, probably one of the more underrated composers out there. The cinematography is great. Zemeckis' brilliant direction carries the movie through. While I don't think it was as good as Everest, The Walk is still an enjoyable movie. I still really enjoyed the hell out of it. It's a great movie. The acting is great. The atmosphere and the look of the film is terrific. The story is great to watch. It's just a really, really great movie. It does have flaws, but the movie works not as just a great adaptation of the story, but also as a love letter to the World Trade Center and this impressive feat that this guy did in August of 1974. Like, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt returning to form, and it's Robert Zemeckis especially returning to form in what could have been, in what could possibly be his last great film, because, like I said, Zemeckis hasn't really done a lot of great stuff since this, but I love the hell out of this movie. I'm ashamed that it was a flop at the box office, but it is getting a 4K release as of the time of recording this, so hopefully it'll find some new life and people will rediscover it again, because it is definitely a movie that deserves to be rediscovered. It's an underrated gem of a film. Should have done much better when it came out, and it's a great movie. I love the hell out of it. I'm definitely looking forward to rewatching that in 4K really soon. The Walk is a terrific film, a very underrated movie. I can't recommend it enough. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies. And the next time we meet, Warner Brothers will try their chance at bringing the adventure of Peter Pan to life in live-action form with what was supposed to be the plan of a new series. And, of course, when that happens with a film like this, yeah, it's not gonna play out well. Pan with Hugh Jackman and also Garrett Hedlund and also Rooney Mara, I think, is in this one too. But we'll take a look at that one. That other Jeff Daniels movie I was talking about actually does come out this weekend in limited release. Another great underrated movie from this month. There was a lot of good stuff that came out in October, I'm starting to realize here. Michael Fassbender starring in the much better Steve Jobs movie than the Ashton Kutcher film, simply titled Steve Jobs. We'll take a look at that one. We will also take a look at the far superior Eli Roth movie of 2015 with Keanu Reeves, Knock Knock. And, is that it? Just those three? Let me see. Yeah, I guess that's it. Just those three films. So, we'll take a look at those movies. That'll be coming up tomorrow here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But, with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. With all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.